Android Soo, Parallel Blue, written and illustrated by Diana. Chapter 10. Once back at Kay's apartment, Soo stretched out on the couch and Kay sat down in a chair nearby. Kay told Soo some of the things he knew about her past, hoping she would fully break through Bry's false memory layer and be her usual self. He could see her making an effort to remember, but she still seemed bewildered. Kay thought if Soo could lie down under the recharge lamp for a while, maybe the rejuvenation would help. She didn't get fully recharged the night before, and they spent all day at the police station being questioned. That would wear out anyone, human or android. It was getting dark now outside Kay's bedroom window as the simulated sun set. "I know it's early, but you've had such a long day. Why don't you lay down under the recharge lamp?" Kay walked with Soo into the bedroom, and she lay down on the bed. Kay positioned the recharge lamp so it would shine on her directly when lit. Soo looked over at the painting by Nars hanging on the wall opposite the bed. She stared at the painting so it was the only thing that filled her vision. She could feel her mind and body relax as she sank into the depth of the painting as if it were a three-dimensional thing. Trina, thought Soo. Trina, her friend, was terminally damaged in Lugita's lab. Soo began to remember some of the things that happened to her the first time she went through a time portal. Then she remembered some random things. Sten sending her out to the Rutherford Hotel on a job, the day she moved into her apartment, receiving her sensor wig and trying it on for the first time in front of a mirror. The memories came slowly at first, but then it all came flooding back in a rush, and she could remember everything. The shock of breaking through the false memory layer was so overwhelming, Soo began to tremble uncontrollably. Kay could see something profound was happening to Soo. He lay down on the bed beside her and put his arms around her, trying to stop the trembling. This time, Kay's closeness felt good to Soo, not strange, and she welcomed it. They began to caress each other in a way no androids had ever done before. They kissed and tried to move even closer together on the bed, overwhelmed with a strange passion previously unknown to androids. A passion well known to living beings, from humans to mice. After only half an hour, the sudden burst of emotion and intimacy was over. Soo and Kay were both exhausted by everything that happened that day. Kay pressed a button on his bedside table, and the recharge light came on. Kay and Soo lay on the bed close together, holding hands, while they both slipped into recharge mode. The next morning, they woke simultaneously when the recharge light automatically shut off, still holding hands. Kay rolled over to put his arm around Soo, but she wasn't quite sure how to react, quickly got off the bed and walked into the next room. Soo immediately contacted Sten to say she had regained her memory and was ready to get back to work. "You've been through so much. Maybe you should wait a few days to recuperate," advised Sten. "The police contacted me to say they have proven your true identity and that you were kidnapped and illegally sold by Bry. Now FTAO will have the proof it needs to investigate Bry's company and hopefully shut him down." As Soo terminated the communication, Kay came out of the bedroom. "Sten thinks I should rest for the next few days," said Soo. "I agree. You can stay here," said Kay hopefully. "I could." Soo was not sure what she wanted to do. Kay was looking at her with so much hope and expectation. He obviously didn't want her to go back to her apartment. They just stood there looking at each other across the room. Then Soo felt such a rush of warm affection for Kay. She knew she did want to stay there with him. For the next 3 days, Soo and Kay rarely left the apartment. They spent their time telling each other their lifetime of experiences. Each night, before slipping into recharge mode, they lay side by side on the bed and experienced the intimacy of that first night. As the days and nights passed, Soo began to feel physically altered somehow. She couldn't put her finger on it, but something felt different about her body. She told Kay about it, but he thought it was only the after effects of the false memory layer and the trauma Soo had been through. By the third day, Soo was feeling restless and said she wanted to go back to Enviro Repair to check in with Sten. "I'll come back tomorrow night. I also want to get a checkup with an android doctor to see if there's any damage left by the memory layer." "All right, but let me know immediately if anything is wrong." Kay put his arm around Soo and kissed the side of her mouth. She hugged him close, then walked out the door. While riding the tube to Enviro Repair, Soo contacted Sten to let her know she was coming in. Sten said, "I was just about to contact you. I need you to go over to the Rutherford Hotel right away to repair their ever-malfunctioning digi-windows. It should be a simple, quick job for you, and I don't have anyone else available right now. When you're done, you can have the rest of the day off. Just let me know when you're finished at the Rutherford." "I'm on my way." Soo got off the tube to switch to one that would take her to the hotel. In the manager's office at the Rutherford, Quigg said, "It's the windows on the 5th and 6th subfloors. They will only play the same 15 minutes of a desert sandstorm over and over and over again. I've got an important client in the 5th floor suite. She's getting very upset and threatening to move to another hotel. Please fix the problem as quickly as you can." Soo knew all the windows for the 5th and 6th floors were controlled from the panel in an access tube between those floors on the west side of the building. While crawling through the tube, Soo could see the glow of the access panel up ahead. Instead of the steady glow it should have been, the light from the panel was wavering. She couldn't imagine what malfunction could be causing this. Then she realized it wasn't a panel malfunction, but a time warp coming fast towards her. She tried to back up to get out of the way, but the tube was too small to turn around. The wave passed over her. Soo, feeling disoriented, made her way to the access tube exit. She was standing in the hallway trying to clear her mind when she saw Fan coming down the hall. "What are you doing here?" asked Fan. "I didn't call Enviro Repair for anything." Though her mind was still foggy, Soo knew she must have traveled back to her own time. In Kay's time, Fan was not the manager of the Rutherford Hotel. "I thought I left one of my tools here and wanted to look for it," said Soo. "Be my guest," said Fan, and kept walking down the hall. Soo crawled back into the access tube, hoping the time warp would pass through again. She desperately wanted to get back to Kay. She had to be with Kay. It was the only thought that filled her mind. Surely if she waited long enough, the time warp would pass through again, thought Soo. She waited in the access tube so long without being recharged, she lapsed into a dormant state. During the time Soo was in the parallel universe with Kay, the Soo who was originally from that universe had taken her place in this universe. When neither Soo came back to Enviro Repair, Sten went looking for her anywhere she could think of. She contacted Fan, who said she saw her go into an access tube 5 days ago, looking for some tool she thought she left there. Sten went to the Rutherford Hotel and found Soo in the tube and got her out, took her back to Enviro Repair. Soo's apartment was too small for Sten to get into, so she had some of the other androids put more comfortable clothes on Soo and get her into bed under the recharge lamp. Soo recharged for 20 hours before waking up. When she did wake up, she was alone in her room. Glancing around, she could see the room was exactly the way she left it only 4 months before. So much had happened since then, it seemed like she'd been gone for years. Slowly, Soo got up from the bed, changing into work clothes. Her mind still felt foggy. It was difficult to make simple decisions. Thoughts of Kay and never being able to see him again kept creeping into her consciousness. Soo thought it might be best to keep herself busy with work to drive out the painful thoughts of Kay. She contacted Sten to let her know she was ready to work, and Sten asked her to come down to the office. "Do you want to tell me what happened? Why did you stay in the access tube at the Rutherford until your charge completely ran down?" asked Sten, greatly concerned about Soo's odd behavior. When Soo didn't reply, Sten kept on talking. When you returned 3 months ago after a mysterious 6-week absence, you seemed so different, so emotional. When I asked, you wouldn't give an explanation for your absence. In fact, you kept insisting you hadn't been gone at all. You asked about a non-existent co-worker named Kay. There were many small things you didn't seem to remember, like the name of the current manager of the Rutherford Hotel. Soo wanted to explain to Sten what happened, but didn't know how. She was afraid if she told Sten or anybody about being in a parallel universe, she would be considered damaged and sent to a reprogram facility. Sten was very worried about Soo's condition. She had known Soo since soon after her creation and had never seen her so depressed and confused. I want you to go to an android doctor. This is the location. Sten handed Soo a small card. Soo agreed to go, having intended to see a doctor even before going through the time warp. Without a word, she left Sten's office. At the doctor's office, after being examined by scan twice, the doctor explained that she didn't know how it happened. Somehow, a process had begun in Soo's body where 2 specialized nanobots began construction of a unique and separate android inside Soo's abdominal cavity. Soo's body funneled material to the nanobots to use for the construction, and as the construction got larger, the nanobots replicated themselves to keep the construction going at a steady pace. The doctor said she could tell that one of the original 2 nanobots had always been a part of Soo, but the other nanobot seemed to have come from somewhere else. Do you have any idea how you acquired the second nanobot? I can't imagine where it could have come from. I've never seen anything like this. I didn't even know it was possible. The doctor didn't seem to expect an answer. Of course, Soo did know where the other nanobot must have come from, but she didn't want to say anything to the doctor about it yet. Her longing for Kay was so strong, she felt she couldn't talk about him or what they experienced together to anyone. Judging by the nanobot's progress I've observed since you've been in my office, the entire process should be completed in another 3 months, said the doctor. Unless Soo wanted it removed, the doctor wanted to monitor the completion of the construction. She thought the construction would stop if she removed the nanobots in the tiny partially built android. Once the construction was completed, the miniature android would need to be removed if it didn't exit somehow on its own. In either case, the doctor wanted to observe the entire process. The doctor handed Soo a small device. I want you to scan your abdomen every morning and night at the same times each day. The images will automatically be sent to me here. Then return to my office in a week for another more intensive scan. As Soo left the doctor's office, she could hear her talking to herself about having to consult colleagues. She wanted to start doing research immediately to find out if there was any information about something like this happening before. When Soo returned to her apartment, she noticed that the table and chairs from her parallel universe apartment were now in this apartment. Pom, a female GX series android who had been working at Enviro Repair for nearly as long as Soo, walked in and told Soo she bought the new furniture a couple of weeks ago, and it was delivered while she was out. Are you all right now? What did the doctor say? You have been acting very weird for the past 3 months. You kept asking about someone named Kay you thought worked at Enviro Repair, but nobody ever heard of a male android named Kay. You were getting angry with us and Sten. You actually threw a vase at Dix and almost hit him. The doctor said I'm all right, just stressed out, Soo assured Pom. She gave me a mood wave modifier, and I'll go see her again in a week. Pom seemed satisfied with that and went back to her own apartment. Finally left alone in her room, Soo began to think what this android growing inside her body might mean. Soo wondered if this was somehow going to be similar to how humans replicated. She knew that process took place mostly in a human woman's body and was sometimes started and finished outside the body. Could this be the same thing? Would it come out by itself, or would it have to be removed? Once it was out, would it be totally dependent on her and need constant care, or would it be able to take care of itself? I wonder if it's a girl or a boy. Soo got a little smile on her face and said, I'm going to have a baby. The end. Sort of. Watch for Book 3 of the Android Soo series, Android Soo Finds Her Muse.